Gareth Hughes, 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Sorry,
5
minutes.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Speaker. Kia ora, ngā mihi nui kia koutou, kia ora, rise to support the Land Transport Amendment Bill 2013. I just want to start off by acknowledging the families and friends of victims of alcohol-induced road deaths on New Zealand streets and roads. Mr. Speaker, for these people, this isn't academic, this isn't politics, this is about a loved one who they've lost. So I want to acknowledge the heartbreak. We know there have been hundreds of whānau affected by alcohol on our roads, and what the Green Party wants to see is less Kiwis dying needlessly, because we've got rules in place to protect other drivers, other passengers on the road, but make better decisions and keep us safe on the roads. So we support this bill. We think it's a good step forward to see the blood alcohol levels reducing through this legislation. Obviously, we can rehash all the old political debates of a few years ago, but what we did see was a tremendous missed opportunity 2 years ago. We had a confluence of factors: official advice, the Law Commission, public campaigns by the media, public opinion polling turning in the direction of lower blood alcohol levels. This side of Parliament very clearly calling for it. We didn't take that opportunity, but it's good we're finally doing it now. Now, what we're seeing is some changes from that, the zero blood alcohol effective rate for under 20-year-olds, alcohol interlocks, some progressive steps, but we need to go further and align our entire blood alcohol levels at that 0.5 level. So what this bill basically does is reduce from 400 to 250 and from 80 to 50 the blood alcohol breath and blood tests. We support this. We support the 0.5 BAC, as it's called, because it's the World Health Organization recommendation. I understand around 23 other OECD states have a similar regime. This is the norm internationally. And when you look at the data, now we've had a debate around whether the data is sufficient or not, but we've seen 300 international reports calling for this, and this is something the Green Party has been calling for a while. Now, what I'd like to question, and we welcome the Select Committee approach, is the official statistics the NZTA has put around this contained in the legislation. They say we're going to see around 3.4 less fatalities a year and a net benefit of around $200 million a year. This is significantly lower from what the NZTA was estimating only a few years ago, if I recall correctly, in the Safer Journeys document, which talked around more fatality savings of 15 to 33 per annum from reducing from 0.8 to 0.5. So when we look at that in detail in the Select Committee, we note the benefit cost ratio of this law is around 10 to 1, considerably higher than the motorways the government's ramming through our Parliament. There we see independent reports actually say they've got benefit cost ratios of 0.4. In other words, you're throwing 60 cents away for every dollar the government's borrowing off the taxpayer to invest in it. And I guess we'd also like to make the point that when it comes to saving lives on the road, sometimes think big style motorways, which cost billions to borrow, to build, isn't the best solution. Actually, there are cost-effective solutions we could be doing right now across Northland roads, Waikato's roads, the roads in the Coromandel, if we weren't spending so much money on some of these mega white elephant projects, such as better walking and cycling and median strips and the like, Mr. Speaker. Cycle, we know it's a lot safer to cycle, Mr. Williamson, and it's the benefit cost ratios there are in the order of 20 to 30 to 1, not the less than half of 1% to 1 as we see in the government. So we'd also like to question in the Select Committee the penalties. We do note these are extraordinarily low. The fine for breaching the new civil infringement period, not criminal, is $200.50 demerit points, quite a lot lower than the current civil penalty. So will it be a disincentive? We'd also like to question why no evidential blood test is required, and also, given the Attorney General has called it inconsistent with the Bill of Rights Act, what the good rationale for that is, because as it's presented, it's simply a cost-saving measure, which he rightfully points out could actually cost more in the long term if we see more legal cases. But, Mr. Speaker, ultimately what we need to get to the bottom of is our alcohol problem in this country, why Kiwis are even contemplating about having a few drinks and driving unsafe. We need to have more alcohol treatment. Of the 30,000 people who were detained for alcohol offences while driving, only 5% got alcohol treatment, was the latest data that I've seen, despite the $4 billion social cost. It's high time New Zealand dealt with our cultural alcohol problems, Mr. Speaker, and we support safer roads. Kia ora.
Simon O'Connor.